Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of VCTV. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott, and we are talking about everything venture capital, everything funding, from funds to funding companies. What is happening? Where are new investments going? Where are new investments going into the next year as we look towards 2021? Where are we placing our bets, or where should we be placing our bets, looking into this new reality that we're all living into, going into this, not just the next year of 2021, but the decade ahead of us as well. And I've brought the best and the brightest from around the world to share their thoughts and insights on exactly just that today. Where should you be placing your bets? Where should you be paying attention to? And where not to be paying attention to, as it might be a little too early, as again, we're looking towards this next decade in front of us. But before we get started, a big thank you to you, our audience, for tuning in. If you like what you hear today, click that big red subscribe button to tune in every single day on VCTV, as we've got episodes all day, every day, and plenty to share with you. And if you'd like to be on a show like today's and joining our outstanding panel of investors, do reach out to the team and or myself, and we'd love to have you join as well. Entrepreneurs, there is a virtual stage here for you to pitch on and share more about your company, product, or service with each and every one of us to get real-time feedback, build relationships, and exposure to our live audience. Reach out to the team and or myself. We'd love to have you and find the right spot for you. Last but not least, a big thank you to the entire LATOKEN team and to Maria for making sure VCTV possible. VCTV is possible every single day on every device anywhere in the world. Have not had enough coffee yet, so I'm already fumbling, but I'm fumbling more so because I am joined by such outstanding individuals who I am lucky in part, some to see every day and others to see every now and then. And nonetheless, they are truly best and the brightest to share with us all of they have around this particular topic. With that being said, let's go ahead and get to introductions. Mark.
Happy to get started. So the best and brightest, well, I don't know what I'm doing here then. Maybe it's just my good looks, but fine. Or Mark Müller-Eberstein out of Seattle, part of the angel community here, is a member of the Alliance of Angel, the Swan Fund, the Codex 3 investor group that is focusing on blockchain, crypto-only investments, but Angel of Alliance, Swan, we are doing anything. We are looking at the entrepreneurs that are changing the world and trying to help them with capital, of course, but also with advice, guidance, connections on their path to success.
Wonderful. Adrian.
Hello, Kyle. Hello, everybody. Hello, LATOKEN team. Very happy to come back here. My name is Adrian Niculescu. I'm involved in few projects. One of them is CloudCoin Consortium. I do communication outside the US and Canada, and sometimes in US and Canada. CloudCoin is a post-blockchain digital currency. Also, I work with Faster Capital, which is a Dubai-based accelerator and incubator in companies, and a hardworking mentor in Richard Branson's Virgin Startups. Happy to be here.
Wonderful. Susan.
Susan Akbarpour. I'm a partner at Can-Do Ventures. I've been a serial entrepreneur, investor, board member, and community organizers for over 30 years and have hands-on experience in building innovative products and businesses in software, retail, and media industries. And I've been always serving in leadership role and cross-functional teams that made it really fun. We're investing in, we call it basic technologies, blockchain, AI, security, IoT, cloud. My specialty is in consumer internet, and we also invest in deep technologies. I have a master's degree in management from Stanford, and I've been investing for the last 20 years, but in 2016, I joined Can-Do, and I'm actually helping them with sourcing the deals and due diligence, and I'm also in the board of some of the companies that we have in our portfolio, like FaceNote and others.
Love it. Welcome back. And Noble, to you. Absolutely wonderful introduction, Noble. However, we are not able to hear you. For those that don't know Noble, he is an outstanding investor, is partnered with them. Oh, here he is. Oh, he is not. So he is an outstanding individual, has the best and the brightest knowledge in everything AR, VR, Also partnered with M Accelerator based out of Los Angeles. Definitely check him out. He's got a very bright history in financial markets as well. But when it comes to everything gaming, AR, VR, and everything in between, he's your guy. There you go. We'll have Noble back here in just a moment. Lubna, welcome back. It's an absolute pleasure, as always, to see you. A little intro as well.
Hi, I'm Lubna Dajani. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I come from the technology side of the house, looking at systems and how technology, information, communication technologies impact life and humanity. And our interest right now is in seeding innovations that are hyper grassroots regeneration for communities very indigenous to the land, the environment that it's within. Applying any innovation up and down that stack of technology to serve any of the functions of society, whether it's taking into account, from housing to local regeneration of waste management. So empathic, caring villages rather than just smart cities.
I love it. Welcome back. It's a pleasure as always. And last but not least, Tolga, how you doing, buddy?
Good to see you, Kyle. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you as well. Little intro on your side.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It is a pleasure to be with you again. After working for companies like Spin Master, Electronic Arts, I started my own company called Thunderbolt, which was primarily working with digital startups. Eventually, our platform got acquired by a Canadian investment company called New Wave Holdings. After the acquisition, I was appointed as the managing partner and CEO of New Wave, and under my leadership, the company made multiple investments into emerging industries. In October 2019, New Wave became a publicly traded company and listed at the Canadian Stock Exchange, CSE. After taking a short break during the pandemic, I joined Loop, an EV charging technology company, as a vice president, and I am right now helping them with marketing and product development. It is actually the fastest growing EV charging network in the United States, and we are very, very excited about that. I can tell you more about the growing EV charging and electric vehicle industry during this panel. Thank you.
Welcome all of you, and thank you, Tolga. And Tolga's right. Definitely check out Loop if you haven't already, to our audience. But welcome everybody. I just want to jump right into what you're all seeing in terms of venture and venture capital and fundraising right now. I mean, so much has happened, as we know, for the past almost 11 months now, almost 12 months. My goodness, so much time has gone by, but there's been so much put to work, and we've heard numbers of all different sizes that were down, but were up in terms of venture capital. Q3 was actually down compared to Q3 last year of 2019, so 2020 versus 2019. But going into Q4, we actually might see that change. However, I want to hear from each of you your view of what you're seeing and where you're looking to place your bets in not just the last month or so of this year, but for the coming years ahead as well. Mark, let's kick it off with you.
Glad to. Yes, it's definitely has been a wild ride, and it's I say never too late to be learning. It's interesting that you say what happened over the last quarters. I think TechCrunch, but also Hockey Stick, which is affiliated with the Angel Capital Association, releases their regular reports. And while, of course, in the beginning of the pandemic, everybody froze, there has been a lot of investment opportunities over the last few months. It feels like it's going more into the agile, fast-moving teams that are taking care of new opportunities, while companies that are kind of building things for a while, maybe some multiple years, they have a much harder time to getting traction with investors these days, at least that it looks like from my perspective. But the opportunities are definitely there. I mean, Tolga just mentioned the whole car infrastructure. I think the UK announced yesterday that by 2030, there will be no pure combustion cars, engine cars anymore. So the opportunities are definitely happening. I mean, for us, we invested heavily in the PPE space, the personal protection equipment space, which of course wasn't existing 12 months ago. And now it's a huge business. But where you actually help the population of a whole country to have access to a reliable partner in that space.
And thank you, Mark. And Adrian, coming to you, same question.
I answered to this question in few editions ago, but now I have a different answer. I see so many new funds coming, and the idea is that in a crisis, the quantity of the money in the market is the same. Maybe with the inflation of fiat money in different countries, there are more money now in the market than before, and I see a lot of a lot of activity in the venture capital space. Basically, I'm involved in 3 funding rounds for companies, and I speak with many people from new funds which were created this year. So a new economy is in the birth stage right now, and I would say that for the ones who started projects few years ago and now are at the edge of actually launching the products, it's a very good time to pivot, to look at big players which are shrinking right now. So I work more than ever, but I don't have a problem with that. The only thing I want to see where the market is heading and to position what we are doing there. But and your effort of doing these calls like daily, I don't know how you can keep up with this space, is very welcome during this time. This is what I'm seeing these days.
And thank you, Adrian. Susan, to you. And also, Adrian, I will say it's good that you had that change of view. You've seen so much happen. That goes back to Mark's point that so much is happening so quickly here in these coming months as we shoot towards the end of the year. So it's good to see that you've changed your outlook. But Susan, to you, same question. What are you currently seeing? Great point, Susan. Absolutely phenomenal. I know you're seeing a lot. I mean, we got 6 weeks left. I know it's a ton of activity. You're on mute.
Okay, that was helpful. So aside from SPAC, as SPAC fundraising booms, as you see in the last year, and now we see a boom of SPACs fundraising, and in fact, they have raised in excess of $55 billion to date during 2022, which is amazing, and much more than the $13.6 billion last year. So aside from that, in my business, I see 2 paradigm shifts. I see more quality deals, and I can basically correlate that with COVID-19. It seems that some of these companies, they need to fund their pauses. It's not that they don't have a good product, good team, or a great market ahead of them, but they have to go through these pause, and they're running out of cash. So they're coming out to get a bridge or raise some fund to get to the stage that they can go after another equity round. So that's a good news for us. We see a lot of great companies, and in fact, we're overwhelmed and we're suffering from deal fatigue nowadays. I think I told you at the beginning in the break that this week alone, I'm speaking and judging in 5 conferences, looking into over 300 startups. And the second paradigm shift that I wanted to mention is the fact that I don't have direct exact data, but to me, it seems 30% of them at least are coming from overseas. And when I say overseas, it's Middle East, Africa, like other places that VCs never had the opportunity to look into them. And now with these virtual conferences and pitches, they get the opportunity to present to Silicon Valley VCs that usually they like to invest like a mile away from their nose, right? So now we see these deals, and I'm very surprised with the quality of the deals that are coming. They're not in deep technologies or deep technologies. Mainly they are services, but enabled by technology, but great revenues. I was looking at the company in Egypt with $300,000 revenue per month and 35 month-over-month revenue increase. This is amazing that the market is ripe in there, and they get to leapfrog because there's no legacy infrastructure, so they can quickly go and rise above the expectations. But the problem before was we never had access to those deals because they couldn't come to United States and participate in, like whatever conference, right? But now with the virtual access, they can come and say, hey, we're here. And that's exciting.
You're absolutely right. It's very exciting. I actually had a conversation myself as well about this, that these emerging markets are just, again, markets around the world because of the pandemic and us shifting towards Zoom life, actually has brought that exposure and opportunity to everybody. And if anything, as investors, we've started changing or rethinking our thesis of, we only invest on a coast. We only invest in, this particular region. We only to, wait a second. Yeah. Maybe we have a special niche, as we're about to hear from Noble in just a moment, around a particular technology. So we're still okay to focus on that, but let's look at companies everywhere. And what's super exciting even further about that is now, thanks to things like VCTV, shameless plug, and also some of the events that you're pitching or you're participating at, as we all have, as well, is now we also get true word as to what's happening on the ground, right? Mm-hmm. You're not getting a cold email with just a pitch deck hoping this is something real. Instead, now you're being able to be educated, you're having those meetings, and also getting those multiple contacts as well. It's just a way we hadn't before at such a pace that, like you said, fatigue, it's exciting.
I can say COVID-19 made the world even smaller.
It's so true. I mean, 3 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon. I feel like we're 6 degrees or 3 degrees from everybody now. It's amazing.
And in 5 minutes, you can get your hands to the best deals ever, right? So that's great.
The best deals, any person in any industry with any level of intelligence or knowledge in that said industry, anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. All you have to do, and we spoke about this earlier today on VCTV, and I'll continue going after my monologue here, is you just have to try. You just have to give that reach out. And now, and to those entrepreneurs that are listening, and Susan just validated for you, Adrian did, Mark did, and I guarantee Noble, Lubna, and Tolga will in just a moment, as I will here as well, is you just have to reach out.
Yeah.
And before and before I understand that was a tough call. I understand that was tough for many people. I was there myself as well as a founder, as we all have been. Right now, do it. If you're saying otherwise, you're bullshitting yourself.
It takes a registration in one of these pitches instead of coming and traveling all the way from Egypt or Africa to New York, right? It's much cheaper, and that's your chance to show the face.
Tolga has pitched Loop, I guarantee you, this week in probably 17 different countries and has not had to leave his couch. He has just chilled there the entire time, which is great because it saved him anywhere from 1 to 12 hours on each side of traveling, which is great. And here on VCTV, shameless plug, we do the same thing. Look at that. Thank you, Susan, for that shameless plug.
You're
Having
welcome.
fun today. Noble, to you.
Try.
Noble, you're giving such grateful information. It's a little hard to hear you. You want to try again?
Can you hear me now? Is it
now we can hear you?
All right, great. Yay, I made it.
You get
Kyle,
an
thank
emoji.
you for I'm going to tell you this right now. Thank you for my introduction. You're my permanent publicist. I'm taking you everywhere I go all the time. So, we work with, we help a lot of companies raise capital all the time, and either we invest or they work with us to find investors with them. And the most amazing projects have come across my desk, from us, changes in medical. Restore Osteo is a great company we're working with now, in which they are eliminating surgery for the baby boomer population. We got people doing stuff aging in place. Gold mining is back in a big way, because again, gold is starting to become a big safe haven, and it's becoming affordable to do. We're talking to people who are creating lending products, and it's just amazing what's happening. And the great part of all this is that when you start getting outside the U.S. borders, you realize how much everywhere else is still almost like the 90s, to be honest. When we start talking to people and when we deal with people in Africa, and we're talking to people in South America, they have not caught up to the 5G level that we're dealing with now. They are still looking at an industrial level just to be able to deliver goods, products, and services. And there's so many opportunities that allow for that. Anuj is not here today, but we've been looking at the whole entire cloud kitchen space and how explosive that's been throughout India. Multi-billion-dollar companies on just food delivery are just going gangbusters. So we've seen a lot of very exciting projects. At the same time, we're in this new paradigm shift. We're in this quote unquote new normal. The question always is, does it shift back? Allegedly there's going to be some vaccines that come out, and people are kind of cooped up. And will this Zoom kind of lifestyle continue to give access to a lot of those people? And we've made a lot of relationships and inroads with new incubators. I've created relationships and joined different angel networks across the globe that I've never been exposed to. And so I really do believe the power of what the future holds with all of this is not only in other countries, but again, I'm a big fan of augmented reality and virtual reality and blockchain, in the sense that it deals with entertainment and gaming. But when you start intersecting all of this, a lot of places, and I believe it was to Susan's point, they don't have the issue, either Susan or Mark, but they don't have the issue of an infrastructure. They literally are already jumping into gaming. They're already jumping into DeFi. So there's about 3 or 4 projects that are banking projects that we are right now scoping that deal with allowing people to use crypto and multiple currencies from their phones in other countries. We're looking at a project that you don't need Wi-Fi in order to exchange capital between the customer and the seller, and that can work on something as low as 2G. Right. So there's these really cool innovations that are happening. And as an investor and someone who just works with investors to connect them, it's one of the most exciting things to be able to show that these opportunities are not only there, but viable, and that you can trust the ability to invest in a foreign country. Because that's the other component, right? What regulations, rules, protections do you have as a foreign investor coming in, and what structure do you utilize in order to own or get an acquisition piece of the company? So there's a lot of logistics that come into play. So I've talked to more lawyers the last 8 or 9 months than I've ever talked to regarding foreign investment and apostilles and all this other stuff. But it's been an exciting kind of interaction, and I think the future is just bright because so many other countries want what the Western world has, and they don't have to deal with all the entrenchment of the big 3 that are kind of blocking everything from happening like we have in the United States.
Well, and you'd be shocked too at how many companies from a foreign perspective, right, from in various markets actually have a Delaware-based corporation here in the U.S. for those that are U.S.-based investors. But also, there are so many opportunities aside from lawyers that you can connect with as individuals through your own network to figure out how to make investments safely and smartly in those new regions as well. There's tons of opportunity. And one other thing I'll add as we come to Lubna here next is, to your point, Noble, I mean, there are times now that we have the chance to connect with each other. And I argue, we'll see how long this lasts, but my current argument is we're building actually more foundational relationships this way than we would have at an event. I would have had the chance to meet Susan or hear Susan speak on stage, say hi, exchange name cards, shake hands, and maybe we followed up once or twice over email and that was it. Instead, now we've actually been able to build a relationship where we can reach out and talk and, you know, have something besides just a name card attached to it. And even yourself, right? We see each other more than once a week, which is a pleasure, such a delight. And you know, that's
you are in my living room.
there you go.
That never happened.
Little did you know you're in mine as well. Even though it's just a white wall, there's a living room on that side of the computer. So
exactly.
to your point, I think it's a great thing now to actually build more foundational relationships than we would have in the current form. Where that goes from today, we'll see. But with that being said, perfect segue over to Lubna. Lubna, you focus in a lot of different areas that we've already talked about. Huge component of systems. But I want to make sure you get the chance to share what you're seeing as well in this market.
Yeah, so thank you. Well, I mean, this is the first time with COVID, yeah, and it's really not COVID, but our reactions to it and our the lockdowns or what have you. It's a period of reset, and the direction, the communications, the direction, the messaging that we do, and how we apply technology becomes has a multiplier effect. COVID with the lockdowns have accelerated our adoption of technology, our acceptance of what's been around. I mean, we've been selling this stuff for like, I mean, it's embarrassing the degree of the technology that we're using, the capabilities given, I mean, today and how long we've been, it's our ability to accept it as a medium. So to think that we're going to stay like this, I don't care how immersive or not, like we think, oh, this is virtual and it's only online, but it's the truth of each and every one of us are either in our living room, in some hotel, in some bathroom, and who knows what. And we have some backgrounds behind us that maybe they represent something that matters. Maybe they just represent whatever that was there. But the reality is it's accelerated, I say a year per month at least. And the longer the lockdowns, the longer, the greater the impact per month. It's an exponential, it's like a fractal. So now we're at a point where we have a total reset, really, questioning everything. So there's a lot of unknowns and uncharted, which is totally awesome and cool. There is, we're united by wearing masks. We're all speaking about the same things. We're all at scale, sufficiently at a critical mass. But we're also talking about climate, and it's no longer down the line. It's not even our children's, in our own lifetimes that we're seeing it. But there's the good news is in all that is we can also be talking about ways to regenerate, that we can see there's no question that our economic models, be it, I don't care what you call it, capitalism, communism, whatever ism it is, I prefer Rian Eisler's slant on it. It's partnerism, and it's like moving away from this domination, or I call it vertical accumulation, to horizontal enablement. So hyper-social entrepreneurship, regeneration to the environments, the communities, the individual, shifting and we see it, the shift, more women, more investments in SDGs, the diversity that comes with being closer to each other across the channel. So it's really what use cases do we enable now? Where do we move our investment? Now we can all be investors in each other and ourselves. So I think, yeah, it's awesome. We're having a party at the end of the year and you're all invited. I'm serious, but wait, we'll talk about it next time.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lubna. Tolga, to you. What do you see in current state?
Yeah, I actually want to, I think nobody talked about that. I want to really encourage all entrepreneurs to reach out to as many as investors as possible during these days, because people are at home, and I think this is definitely like affecting people's entire future. Like, I think the investor meetings in the future are not going to be the same anymore. It's gonna be all like these Zoom meetings and everything. So this is the best time actually to really reach out to investors and pitch. I remember back in the day, like 6-7 years ago, when I was in the fundraising stage of my life, when we had 2-3 meetings a day driving around Los Angeles. Oh, that was such a busy day. But right now, like, you can literally have 15 meetings with different people, maybe 20 meetings with different people from like 10-15 minutes each, and you can reach as many people as possible. So this is really an amazing opportunity for entrepreneurs. I think a new age is beginning for entrepreneurship. Other than this, in terms of money too, Fed just created like something around $6 trillion, and the pandemic didn't make the money disappear. There's $6 trillion additional money in the market right now, and at least 2-point-something trillion was distributed by the financial institutions. This is an enormous amount of liquidity in the market, and this is gonna just float around in the next 1-2 years, similar to what happened during the 2008 financial crisis. This is a really great opportunity for people to, start new companies, whatever that they are dreaming about. I think they should be doing this right now. If they're unemployed, this is your opportunity. I think people should really stop looking at things from the bad side. I think there are so many great things are happening too. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's tragic that we are losing people, old people. My dad was sick. He was hospitalized. He got better. I mean, we are all experiencing certain things, but in terms of entrepreneurship, I think this is a really great time for people to look at things from a different perspective, because the world is really changing rapidly. Again, I'm going to mention about Loop and the EV charging. It's going to be massive, and there are not going to be any gas stations in the future. There are not going to be gas anymore. This is the biggest shift actually that happening in the energy industry since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. So almost 200 years. So this is a completely new era, and people are, I mean, of course, it's happening slowly, day by day, maybe not realizing this, but like in a few years, things are going to be extremely different.
That they are, and thank you, Tolga, for mentioning that. And the only gas stations we'll have in the future are in space. If you don't know that reference, check out some former episodes around the industry.
That distance is worth it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. All right. So we do have a hard stop here.
Kind of exaggerated. There are going to be gas stations in the future, but I mean, it's not like
It is very true. To Tolga's point, things are going to evolve. We'll have very unique stations, energy stations, charge up stations, all powered by Tolga and Loop. So stay tuned for that. If you are listening, reach out and invest in Tolga or anything he's doing. So with that, shameless plug for everybody, but we are coming to the top of the hour, and we all have, as we mentioned, we're all at home. So we're all on Zooms 24/7, 365. I know we have some pitch competitions that are coming up here at the top of the hour. So I want to make sure everyone gets in their closing thoughts as to where things go from here. So looking at 2021, where are you placing your bets? Where are the opportunities that you know that you want to be paying attention to for the next year and a half? So 12 to 18 months ahead. And then, of course, where can everyone find you online? Adrian, we're going to start with you.
So I'm looking at two industries very, very close. One of them is the financial industry. Of course, the crypto, the blockchain space from the financial point of view. Industry will go through massive shifts. I've met a company doing some bracelets for concerts, and they are not using the internet for communication. Also, there is a company I saw that is not in the entertainment space, it's more in the blockchain space. They are doing video telephony without internet. So there is something beyond the internet. They are using the old technology used in, or the classical technology used in paging and radio telephony, and they are doing video calls without the need of the internet. So I'm looking very close into this decentralized world, decentralized for good, not decentralized for the sake of saying that is decentralized. And I'm doing everything I can to learn like crazy. So to be or to remain like a 20 years old guy with 25 years of experience. It's the only way. And my main communication hub is LinkedIn. Until something better will be invented, I see many people from Facebook to Parler to other social media sites. I don't know what will be next, but my focus will be on learning to understand as much possible from this world, and of course to help other entrepreneurs to become successful. Thank you very much for having me here, and I'm very happy to come back anytime I'm invited.
Thank you. Noble.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely, Adrian. I like those two projects. Please send the decks to me. I chatted you. I liked anything in the SMR space. That's where I started off in wireless communications. Yeah, I mean, going to the future, I've got two main big bets: gaming and the DeFi protocols around non-fungible tokens. I love decentralized finance. I think that it's teaching people to save, which has been almost disappeared in America for the last 25 to 30 years, but people are starting to understand that there's a way to share in the interest that distributed ledger technology allows you to do with staking and all that great stuff. So I really like that space. And I like how it intersects with gaming with the non-fungible tokens. I believe that the next economy is really going to be centered around games and game development, because work is just going to look different for a lot of people. It's not going to be a world, we're getting into a world where we have AI. We have a world that's not hyper industrialized. Countries that were formerly deeply industrialized are moving and shifting to a Western style economy. So gaming actually, and the ability to offer nodes and create opportunities for processing to happen right here on your computer, is changing how people make money. And so for me, I like those spaces the most. You can reach me on LinkedIn all the time, Noble Dracone, or you can reach me at Twitter, which I'm never very good at checking all the time, but you can send it at Dracone on Twitter.
Wonderful. Lubna.
Hi. Okay. Well, so it's emerging technologies up and down the stack. So AI is and many different applications, and many different applications of it being extending the senses, basically your senses. And I think for us, it's how we're empowering the individual to become aware of the extended self through your digital self, not only your physical self, and the impact of that on the quality of life. So decentralized and distributed technologies, DLTs, and personal coins and currency is definitely the direction that it's going, and what models. So how privacy is being expressed, how exchange is being expressed, identity, and regeneration in terms of the architecture. So absolutely, so that I'm totally in for. I'm ready to invest. Green energy, regenerative energy, regeneration, planet regeneration. So there is innovation in any field of science, and especially when you stack the science and technology, information communication technologies together with biochemistry. That's where we are. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity. I'm loving this time.
Wonderful. And Tolga.
And your mindset today.
Thank you. Thank you. Tolga, to you.
Thank you, Susan. We can talk. In addition, I actually really liked what Noble mentioned. I totally agree with the potential of the esports and gaming industry. I mean, coming from that kind of background too, New Wave Holdings, which I'm an investor partner of, it's heavily invested into esports. And I also think that, you know, gaming industry is a $140 billion industry. Esports is only in the $1 billion level right now. That's gonna go tenfold in the next maybe 10 years. So there's a massive opportunity in esports and gaming. After the pandemic kind of eases down, that's gonna get even better. And also, I am also an investor of the mycological industry, the psychedelics. There are also a great movement in that industry too. Um, there are things happening in Canada. I'm following it. There are things happening in Oregon. Um, so there's a movement. I believe that these are really interesting emerging industries: gaming, esports. The industry that I'm currently in, the EV charging, is massive. Like you know, we are talking about, you know, our competition and everything, but we are not worried about our competition. Is because there's the industry's size is so massive, it's trillions of dollars, that the market there is huge. So and there are industries that are going to be growing like this. I'm very excited. You can reach me. Sorry, you can reach me at from tolgonuk.com. You can send me any messages, anything. You can find me on LinkedIn, Tolga Onuk, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to meeting with you again and telling you more about the changing world.
I love it. Susan, to you. Thank you, Tolga.
Yeah, my favorites are edge computing, AI infrastructure. In fact, when I say, I mean, most of the platforms and AI-enabled platforms have a problem with performance, scalability, and cost of high-performance computing. We just recently invested in a company called Bodo that they're actually bringing the performance, they're increasing the performance and scalability tenfold. However, they're bringing the cost down to 1/10, which is really interesting. I'm very excited about that investment and how it can impact the AI in overall in AI industry. And also GDPR compliant facial recognition. I was really excited about facial recognition, but the user privacy was really my my stopper. I didn't want to invest on those technologies before until I found this opportunity with FaceNote that has created a GDPR compliant facial recognition. So that is an exciting technology. But as I said earlier, I'm also excited about all these platforms, platform as a service, all around the world, that they're creating a better world for everyone at a fraction of cost. And I'm looking at many opportunities out there to see how we can help those technologies and products to grow and scale, because I feel that doing that, we're doing well and we're doing good. So which is the fun part of investment.
Absolutely. And Mark, close us out.
Happy to. So first of all, how do you stay in touch? Twitter, Mark M. Eberstein. Here we go. That's the easiest way. So having said that, for the next 3 or 4 months, stay at home. So whatever you do, I said, my neighbor's dad just passed away. I was on a call yesterday. We got the future is lost 6 people in this thing. Freaking stay at home. And if you go out, put a mask on. Having said that, that allows you, and I think a bunch of people said it today, it gives you the opportunity to reach out globally, to hone down your business, to build a virtual team, to go to investors. We look forward to hearing from you. We want to hear your compelling 30-second pitch, and if that one is good enough, we want to hear the 5-minute pitch that convinces us to learn, to really spend more time. We are looking for those opportunities. And I think, Lubna, you made a really interesting point. This is the time when we have the opportunity to really look at our choices. We can make positive choices, and it might be much easier than it was before in the craziness of the day-to-day getting on a plane and traveling around. Hey, I miss it. I'm looking at the planes flying by. I'm missing being on a plane. Absolutely, I get it. But world has changed, and it has opportunities of getting back to our core values and engaging globally, finding opportunities, and really driving things forward where they matter and where there's a real impact.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you all so very much, Mark. Appreciate the ending thoughts there. To our audience, if you have not already gotten the hint, I'm going to drop it one more time. Mark, Susan, Lubna, Tolga, Noble, Adrian, reach out to all of them. Add context when you do. Let them know where you heard from them, where you met them, and why you're continuing to reach out. But contact all of them. They're all at home. We're in Susan's living room. We're in Mark's office. We're with Lubna in the marina. We're everywhere. Reach out. All right. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, click subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Thank you, Noble. And do reach out if you'd like to be on a show like today to build foundational relationships with all of these investors and share your thoughts and insights to our community as well. Entrepreneurs, as we said, don't waste this opportunity. Definitely reach out, but also join virtual events like we have here at VCTV. Thank you, Mark. And get up on this virtual stage, pitch us as investors and founders, focus on your area, and give you real-time feedback, build relationships, and get exposure to our live audience. Do reach out to the team and or myself. Be happy to find the right spot for you. Last but not least, a big thank you to the LA Token team and Maria for making VCTV possible every single day. Friends, panelists, investors, thank you all very much for joining us today on VCTV. Have an absolutely outstanding day, rest of the week. Enjoy the pitch competitions and the pitch meetings that you all have to go to. A big thank you again to our audience. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. You can find me at Kyle Ellicott on all social media, and all of our investors as well, 24/7, 365.